Long before humanity carved its first words into stone, long before the Eldar forged their empire of stars, there was war. A war waged not with crude boat guns or fragile voidcraft, but with weapons that shattered suns and unmade gods. The Necrontyr frail, cursed mortals cast off their flesh and rose again as the Necrons, soulless, immortal, and armed with science so advanced it is indistinguishable from sorcery. Even 10 million years later, their technology remains unmatched. To gaze upon it is to see the galaxy's future, cold, eternal, and utterly merciless. These are the most advanced and most powerful technologies of the Necron dynasties. The Necrodermis and living metal. At the very heart of Necron existence lies the miracle or the curse of Necrodermis. This is no mere alloy. It is living metal, a substance that flows like liquid, hardens like adamantium, and heals like flesh. During the war in heaven, the Catan reshaped the Necrontyr into immortal bodies of Necrodermis. No hunger, no disease, no age would ever touch them again. But their souls were stripped away, leaving only echoes bound within machine shells. For the Adeptus Mechanicus, Necrodermis is a blasphemy and a dream. Imagine a tank that repairs itself mid-battle, a starship that heals its wounds between broadsides, or a warrior who cannot truly die. To the Necrons, this is not a fantasy. It is daily reality. Necron overlords stride into war, clad in bodies that regenerate from wounds that would vaporize mortals. Their tomb ships drift for millennia in silence, scarred by meteor impacts or void storms, only to mend themselves as though no time had passed. Even when reduced to fragments, Necrodermis can crawl back together, knitting bone, sinew, and machine into one. But Necrodermis is not perfect. It is not merciful. Over time, it wears thin. Necron warriors left too long in stasis awaken with bodies that malfunction, their programming eroded. Some become flayed ones, cursed with hunger for flesh they no longer possess. Others stumble through war as mindless husks, their Necrodermis shells gleaming, their minds long extinguished. The galaxy's races fear Necron weapons, but it is their immortality, their endless return, clad in living metal, that makes them truly unstoppable. Gauss Weaponry, the green fire of unmaking. Every Necron warrior carries a weapon that would be considered a priceless relic by the Imperium, a Gauss flare. These rifles do not fire shells or beams. They unleash molecular disassembly. When the green lightning of a Gauss weapon strikes, it begins a chain reaction that strips matter atom by atom. Flesh, bone, ceramite, adamantium all unravel in emerald fire, until nothing remains but drifting dust. Space Marines, the pinnacle of human engineering, vanish like sand in the wind. Layman rust tanks dissolve into skeletal frames. Even Titans have fallen beneath waves of Gauss fire, their armor peeled away layer by layer. And these are but the standard rifles of the Necron warrior legions. Their heavier armaments, Gauss cannons, exterminators, obliterators, can erase fortresses, drop void shields, and reduce entire armored columns to ruin. There are no lucky survivors of Gauss fire, no tales of miraculous resistance, only silence and the emerald glow of weapons that do not wound, but erase. For the Imperium, it is the most terrifying of truths, what the Mechanicus calls archaeotech, the Necrons call standard issue. Inertialess drives and faster-than-light supremacy. When the Imperium travels, it entrusts itself to the warp, a hell dimension of madness, storms, and daemons. The Eldar slip through the webway, a crumbling network of ancient passages. Even the Tau stumble forward with crude gravity manipulation, inching across the stars at pitiful speed. The Necrons need none of this. Their ships are driven by inertialess drives. By nullifying their own mass, Necron vessels break the laws of physics, slipping through real space faster than light without ever touching the warp. They do not need navigators. They do not fear daemons. They are immune to warp storms that strand Imperial crusades for centuries. A Necron fleet vanishes from one star system and in moments reappears in another. To the Imperial Navy, this is an abomination and a nightmare. Fleets that take months to marshal may find themselves facing Necron reinforcements in hours. Campaigns fought with desperate supply lines collapse as Necron warships appear and vanish with inhuman precision. It is no wonder that the Necrons are not feared only as warriors, but as hunters. For with such drives, nowhere in the galaxy is safe. Dolmen Gates and Webway Breach. The Webway is the most jealously guarded treasure of the Eldari, a labyrinth beyond the warp, immune to its tides. The Emperor himself once sought to master it, building the Golden Throne as a gateway. He failed, and his empire has paid the price ever since. The Necrons did not fail. Through their Dolmen Gates, the Necrons carved forced entries into the Webway. Though unstable, though violent, these gateways allow their legions to march into realms where even daemons cannot follow. They bypass warp lanes, leap across sectors, and emerge where no enemy expects them. It is said that the Webway still bears their scars' corrupted tunnels, labyrinths overrun by Necron presence. The Eldari whisper of battles fought in secret, where their dying gods clashed with soulless legions within the hidden corridors of eternity. To this day, Necron overlords unleash entire legions through Dolmen Gates, striking at the Imperium from nowhere, disappearing before retaliation can even be mustered. What the Emperor could not master, the Necrons violated with surgical precision. Tesseract technology, prisons for gods. If Necrodermis is the Necron's body and Gauss is their weapon, then Tesseract technology is their blasphemy. The Necrons do not see space as immutable. They fold it, bend it, trap it. Their Tesseract labyrinths are prisons of impossible geometry, dimensions that cannot exist, yet do. It is within these vaults that the Catan shards are held. Fragments of gods, beings of starfire and eternity, chained within boxes no larger than a sarcophagus. They rage in silence, their voices echoing in dimensions no mortal can hear. And sometimes, those vaults are unleashed in war. When a tesseract opens, reality itself screams. Soldiers vanish, trapped forever in impossible corridors. Fire bends, water flows uphill, and entire companies are consumed without a trace. The Necrons imprison gods, and they wield those prisons as weapons. The Celestial Orrery, death for sons. Among all Necron artifacts, one is whispered of in terror above all others, the Celestial Orrery. A construct hidden within a Necron tomb world, it is a perfect reflection of the galaxy, every star, every world, every point of light mapped in its endless halls. But the Orrery is no mere model. It is power incarnate. When a Necron overlord wills it, the light of a star within the Orrery can be extinguished. Across the galaxy, that same sun dies. Worlds freeze. Civilizations collapse. Entire species are snuffed out in silence, their sons murdered by a gesture. Even the Necrons fear to use it. For to slay stars is to unbalance the galaxy itself, to invite ruin upon their own dynasties. But the Orrery remains, waiting. A weapon that can destroy not armies, not worlds, but galaxies themselves, star by star. Canoptek Constructs and Scarab Swarms. The Necrons do not waste warriors on menial labor. Instead, they command tireless servitors of living metal, the Canoptek Constructs. From towering spiders that weave Necrodermis and repair starships, to slithering wraiths that phase through walls and prey upon the unwary, each construct is a testament to Necron mastery. But none are as feared as the scarab swarms, each a tiny shard of Necrodermis, simple, tireless, and utterly merciless. When unleashed, they descend in clouds, stripping tanks to skeletal husks, reducing men to red mist, devouring fortresses stone by stone. To the Mechanicus, scarabs are a nightmare self-replicating machines that cannot be controlled, cannot be stopped, and hunger endlessly. To the Necrons, they are caretakers. For while dynasties slumber, scarabs cleanse tombs, repair stasis chambers, and ensure that when their lords awaken, their worlds are untouched by time. They are pest, predator, and eternal servant proof that even the smallest Necron construct is a terror beyond mortal comprehension. Resurrection protocols, the defeatless legions. If there is one technology that defines the Necrons, it is their mastery of resurrection. To kill a Necron warrior is no victory. Their bodies collapse into green static, pulled through dimensional conduits into tomb networks where they are rebuilt and restored. Moments later, they rise again, their lines unbroken, their march unending. This cycle is more than simple repair. It is an empire's immortality made manifest, an army that can never be truly destroyed. Entire imperial crusades have been bled dry fighting Necron forces, only to discover that for every battalion they destroyed, more rise again from silent tombs. Worse still are the resurrection orbs, wielded by Necron lords. With these devices, entire armies rise in unison, their shattered bodies knitting together, their dead returning to march once more. Against such power, what meaning does victory hold? Against such inevitability, even the mightiest armies fall into despair. Other marvels of the Necrons. The Necron dynasties wield countless other technologies that defy reason. Stasis crypts preserve worlds in silence, freezing their populations in time for eternity, awaiting conquest or study. Phase technology allows Necrons to walk through walls, slip through defenses, and emerge within the heart of enemy bastions. Pylons, vast structures of blackstone, stabilize the fabric of reality itself, keeping the warp at bay and silencing daemons with cold efficiency. Engrammatic data transfer allows Necrons to copy memories, upload minds, and overwrite consciousness itself, a science that makes the Imperium's crude servitors look like children's toys. Each of these, by itself, would change the balance of the galaxy if any lesser race could wield it. To the Necrons, they are merely tools. The Necrons do not invent, they do not dream. They have already reached the pinnacle of science 10 million years ago. While the Imperium stumbles in ignorance, while the Eldar mourn their lost empire, while the Tau pretend at progress, the Necrons simply wait. Eternal, inevitable, supreme. Their technology is not progress, it is the end. For in their machines lies the power to extinguish suns, to chain gods, and to deny death itself. But I ask you, which Necron marvel do you fear the most? The Celestial Orrery that slays stars, the Gauss weapons that erase flesh and steel alike, or the resurrection protocols, against which there can be no final victory? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you wish to explore more of the grim darkness of Warhammer 40,000, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who walk the path of eternal war. For the tombs are opening, the dynasties are stirring, and in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.